You already know. Are you having street dialogue? Are you talking? Are you in the street having dialogue? Because this is what it is, the big picture network. You know what I mean? You see what it is. Big picture, the bigger picture. Yes. Not the small pictures, the big pictures. And that's all I like people to capture me is big screens, big pictures. And you're welcome. This is the new platform. We're going to be promoting the hottest, the newest. Everybody's going to stop here. And remember, it doesn't happen if it doesn't happen here. You're welcome.
Welcome back again, everybody. Another God night, another epic night, another blessed night to be here with you. Remember, those that are here, it's no mistake that you were here, because God make no mistakes. Every moment of our lives, every second is in divine order. So, with that being said, welcome. As I told you earlier, those that caught the clip that I put out earlier, that I would come back to talk about the new Canibus video and meeting Canibus. For those all that seen the video on the last clip, I really hope you enjoyed it. Very hot video. Shout outs to Canibus, man. And that's what I want to talk about. Meeting Canibus, first learning Canibus, the legend, the lyrical legend. So, it was 1996. 1996, I was 20 years old. I was running a huge company. Guys, I always been a boss. You know what I'm saying? So, I can't kind of, get around that. Those that know me would, let y'all know. Always been a boss. Yeah, that dude always was the boss. He was the boss on the street. He was the boss in the business world. He was always the boss. No, all blessings due to God. That's who I was created to be. You know what I'm saying? We all got our roles in life, You know what I'm saying? Don't mean that the boss or is under the worker or the worker is under the boss. We all have our equal roles. The problem comes in is when you try to step out that role and play a position that you're not made for. I was made to be a boss. Getting back to the story, 1996. I was at that time. So to let you know what I was going through, to put you in the mind frame of everything and what was going on. I was running the hotels all throughout New York, you know what I'm saying, in every borough. I would go at that time, I was working for a very huge company. I won't name the company because they're very still huge right now. And, I have dignity about, business and who I've been. Again, real New Yorkers know me. You know what I'm saying? They be like, that's that dude. The company was going around New York and they would buy the worst hotels that was in New York. Drug infested hotels that the cops wouldn't even want to come into. They wouldn't even want to come to the block. You wouldn't begin to believe. All of these hotels was like the Carter, you could say. Like New Jack City, the Carter, these hotels was like all like that. Just all drug dealers and addicts and everything like that. The group that I was with would buy these hotels, and their aim was, when they would buy these hotels, was to flip the hotels into residencies for the people with AIDS. So my job was, when they would buy the hotel, I would have to go there and clear out the drug dealers and the gangsters and, or the just guy would have to clear the building. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, the cops wouldn't even want to come to this building. That should give you a hint of who I am. And it's just some of the, work that I've done all my life. I cleared out all the buildings throughout New York. It was, just like So that's what I was doing at that time. Taking over drug-infested buildings, running well-known gangsters from those neighborhoods out those hotels, you know what I'm saying, and making those hotels suitable where people who had contracted HIV/AIDS could come live. And the group that I was with could get big grants and, big, stuff, money from the government because this was work that was like impossible to pull off. They're a huge company right now. I built the company, you know what I'm saying, that company. I'm not with them no more, with my own company, but that company, yeah. That was 1996. Getting to it. During that year, I went home one day and I put on the radio. It was still about the radio. Like now the radio's faded. It's not, radio, doesn't have the same lackluster that it had with my time, as you guys probably see. But back in the 90s, oh yeah, it was all about Hot 97 and, a few other channels, So yeah, that was the thing. Listen to the radio. They had a lot of rappers coming on there doing freestyles, and I heard this rapper that was amazing. And me, myself, always rapping. There has only been a few rappers in life that I heard rap that style was so intimidating to me that it would make me sit down. It's like watching the gymnastic that someone could jump up and flip, 5 times, do whatever it is. You gotta appreciate, like, damn, I can't do that. Could I ever be able to do that? If I start practicing right now, could I ever get that good? I heard this young man come on there and rap on the radio. I suggest you all go back to look it up. Canibus' first freestyle. I want to believe it was Hot 97. To this day, I don't know. That gotta be in the top 5 freestyles I've ever heard in hip hop. Still to this day, gotta be the top 5. I suggest you all go look it up. Canibus' first freestyle. I was so amazed. I can't begin to tell you how many times of course, we still back then it was about recording stuff. So I recorded it, of course, right away. I think I had a mix CD that I went and it was on board and it was on the mix CD. Clue was big back then. Few others, I believe that I bought the mix CD and I played that freestyle 100 times over. It was just an amazing freestyle. Keeping up with him, I started keeping up with his career. He was supposed to be one of the hottest, if not the newest hottest rapper out. We all seen what happened with him and LL. Shout outs to LL. Everybody know how I feel about LL, KRS-One, and Rakim. If you mix those 3 people together, you're gonna get Sean Bigga out the pot. But unfortunately at that time he got into a beef with LL. That was hard for me, because everybody know, again, I'm LL. I thought that I thought at the time, from what we knew when it happened, first round knockout when he made that, song. I didn't really. Let me be. It wasn't disrespectful, like that. That's the way we were battled back then, to where it was. I felt to where no one really crossed the line. I know he said, strip you for your Vanguard award on the stage and Louis Farrakhan and maybe it was, things that, you said your mom, he, felt some way. You mentioned my mom, but it wasn't, and you hear how these guys are doing right now today. It was clearly not that. I think that you could clearly look and see that Canibus looked up to LL. So even in that song, I could feel he looked up. He was looking up to him, and he was saying it was a comeback. I saw him in the interviews and I understood the story that was explained, that it had happened from an original thing he said about, let me borrow that mic off your arm. And L took that in an offensive way. Like talking about this mic on my arm, if I ever leave, it'd be a time bomb. Yeah, that was crazy. Might get off limit to challengers. You hold the rusty sword, I swing the Excalibur. That was crazy. That was just crazy. How I understood that was L recognized him. You know what I'm saying? L recognized the kid's potential. That, again, Canibus no one was doing it like that dude. So yes, you did at that point arguably rise the attention of, at that time, arguably, the GOAT, the greatest rapper of all time. And he, I think, responded because he saw how good Canibus was. Afterwards it went on and it looked like he went to, put him in the dirt a little bit, because he kept going and kept going. And that was an unfortunate thing, but I don't think it ever took away from the legacy of who Canibus was. And the battle, Worley was said that LL won the battle. And that's how I do feel, but it wasn't about the bars. That battle didn't turn out to be about bars. It was about experience, emotion, and wit. And the experienced legend like LL knew how to use all of that and mix it up and come back in that outbeat bars, because that emotion, was there. He came back right away, so you guys know that don't understand. Man, it was like, L, I don't want to be straight. I think he came back like the next couple days, I want to say. It wasn't a week or so, but it was like immediately came back. It was like immediate. We all knew he didn't sit back and take forever to try to figure it out. He came back immediately, how a hip hop lyricist supposed to. Shout outs to those dudes. That was epic. Then somehow Eminem got in the mix later in the future. Again, arguably one of the best lyricists ever in the world. Why do I think Eminem came at Canibus? Because the same reason as LL. I think M was really trying to revive Canibus. He wanted I think M felt maybe Canibus was the only reputable battle that he could see in the industry. That's just my opinion. I was, heavy in the game in that time, with the music. You know what I'm saying? My opinion is Eminem respected Canibus, and that was, to him at that time, probably one of the only people that could rap with him. Of course, there was, others, but they have a very similar flow pattern. It could even be arguably said that Canibus heavily influenced Eminem. And I'm positive that's the truth. So, years later, fast forward, shout outs to the show that I was on, because these were the moments I can't take away from, and I knew that God had a purpose for everything he does and makes no mistakes. Fast forward later in the future, I was able to meet Canibus on the show that I was on. And that was amazing, because this was a guy who I lyrically looked up to, like, damn, like, is it even possible to get this good? Shout out to my guy. That day when I met him, the humbleness he had, and me talking with him and looking him in his eyes, and him not, seeing, maybe, I don't want to say it right, like, maybe he knows that he's like a lyrical, like, master. Maybe he knows, but he is nothing about that brother that pushes that off on you. You know what I'm saying? It actually pushes off the very opposite, like he don't know. Like he don't know that he's, like, etched up in the stones. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, forever Canibus. Yeah, and that was so amazing for me to see that was in him. And me and him been locked in ever since. As you know, he did the show. He'll be doing, coming on again. We did this new song together, which, again, it'll be at the end of this again. And he's a part of the team. He's a part of the bigger picture. And also is Mark Polo, who I met through Canibus. Shout outs to Polo, my brother in Christ. We argue all day long, you know what I'm saying? Yell at each other, hang up the phone, go back and forth, hold each other to the fire about being in accord, and after it all, I love you, Bigga. I love you, Polo. Real brother stuff. Polo's the one that make the videos. Shout outs to him. Clip Smoke is the one who make the beats. Shout outs to him. You could get in contact with both of them for business. They the brothers. And I'm the one who make the lyrics. Together, we bringing y'all something amazing. Amazing. And to you troll bastards that want me to stop, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm from Harlem. Can't stop, won't stop. You don't remember? Can't stop, won't stop. So, again, meeting Canibus that night was amazing. Shout outs to that night. Working with him has been amazing. I look forward for me and him to continue to do great and big things together. A lot of you haven't heard any new music from him. in a while. Surprise! Come on, man. When are you going to give Bigga his props? I gave you Cool G Rap. He don't really sit down with nobody. I gave you Coke LaRock, the first person who ever rapped on a microphone. Documented. You got Grandmaster Cass Regular, who gave you the first recorded hip-hop song that made all of this. Hip-hop, a hibbity, hip-hop, a don't stop it, rock it to the... He wrote that. And he got Casual Talk on the Bigger Picture. We have given y'all so much. I don't even like naming names because I can't name it all. All the Jews. We gave you Little Eazy-E. Spider Low. Orange Juice Jones. Sophia, the creator of The Matrix. Dr. Umar. We gave y'all so much, and I just have so many names in my head to keep saying. But why should I? Turn on the channel. Watch a show. I gave y'all plenty stuff. Each show have huge messages. Shout outs to King's Son. Like I said, I can't think of so many people, you know what I'm saying? Shout outs to LA Sunshine. Shout outs to Irv Gotti. Shout outs to Ice-T. Shout outs to Scarface. Shout outs to Tretch. Oh, come on, man. Independent. No sponsors. Nobody giving us money. This is all brought to you by The Bigger Picture. The biggest independent network that you have right now. And because of that, guess what? I will not be deterred by the liar. So, shout outs to Canibus. Shout outs to Polo. Shout outs to Clip Smoke. Shout outs to Vernon. And shout outs to Kendria. Oh, big shout outs to Kendria. You're doing. Shout outs to the team. Shout outs to, like I said, I don't want to forget no one on the team, so I'm so sorry. Sha Boogie, where you at, Sha? Me and Sha will be bringing you back again. You know, Sha, Bigga and his 30-year friend, Sha Boogie, that will be, I will get it to y'all at least by the end of this week. You have your next episode with me and Sha Boogie. Sha Boogie, definitely part of the team. You know what I'm saying? K-Sarah, definitely a part of the team. My brother, definitely big part of the team. Definitely prepared for his return. You know what I'm saying? He will be returning. That is my brother down in the, down by law. People that's behind the scene. That you don't see, shout outs to my right hand, you know what I'm saying, in the security world right now, you know what I'm saying, that, helping control stuff out there in the security field for me. But very much a part of this whole entire movement. The bigger picture, cannot forget him at all. Shout outs to H. Everybody know who that is. And like I said, if I forgot anyone, I'm sorry. It's not on purpose, you know what I'm saying? Shout outs to the team, though. You know what I'm saying? You always know shout outs to the queen. Never forget the queen, you know what I'm saying? The queen is always there. Y'all might not see it, but she's there, you know. Shout outs to the queen. None of this could be, you know, but none of this, you know, would be done without, you know, my motivation, you know, to impress my biggest fan. All right, with that being said, let's not waste no time. I know that y'all that didn't see the video, like, let me fast forward this. Bigga, get to the video. Get to the video. Let's see the new Canibus video. So let's not waste no time. Shout outs to my guy Canibus. Shout outs to the bigger picture. Shout outs to everyone that helped with this. I'm proud of this video. I'm proud of this song. I'm proud of all the music, though. Check all the music out. They man shall never take the throne. Those that understand the power of that song and the meaning of that song, shout outs to you. Much respect. I'm going to end the night off as always. Have a blessed night, and always know that the night will soon come to an end, and the sun shall rise.
Ask Bigga and Polo about me. The angels I know don't know Charlie. Man of God, man of respect. I pay my tithes, I don't owe no debts. Tomorrow I promise, don't waste your breath. Most won't get the bigger picture till they facing death. Man of God, man of respect. Humble servants of the Lord, the last ones left. Evil in their spirit can't tempt my flesh. Walk by faith, not by sight. Guide my steps. Don't want nobody getting in between us. There's a pleasurable vibe in the air and I'm determined to keep it. It all began when I embraced my fall off. You know that cannabis, you're not relevant anymore. Talk, that's what they say when they don't wanna pay toll costs. They wanna feed you hot dogs and dollar store pork. Think I've been losing for 30-some years, helping other niggas win, no one cares. Sometimes the fight to survive is too much to bear, but watch where we go from here. Meanwhile they over there crossing the bridge to nowhere. Maybe myopic human behavior make them go there. I got gold software, but not the kind you wear. Trademarked hardware, but not the kind you share. Satellite phones for solar flares, cold weather snow gear, custom handmade from a snow bear. Undisturbed permafrost, clean atmosphere. Watching the northern lights from my porch chair. A duplicate garden of Eden, no bad actors there. Only a handful of people nowhere. Man of God, man of respect. I pay my tithes, I don't owe no debts. Tomorrow I promise, don't waste your breath. Most won't get the bigger picture till they facing death. Man of God, man of respect. Humble servants of the Lord, the last ones left. Evil in their spirit can't tempt my flesh. Walk by faith, not by sight. Guide my steps.
I tell them it's sin to kill. Land forsaken, I'm in the real. Breakout, it's been a drill. Creating death is the pen to kill. I salute my troops, I say that they are me. God produced the fruit divine that we all lead. Satanic possession, manic depression. Platonic connection, granted dissection. Me too, into the body, handsome sight. Hebrew when I told him that he is real light. Life is a movie, let's call it exist. Bad act or can't stick to the script. Selling your body, cancerous. I walk with Christ, how can I bust? Card on self, I speaking truthfully. Nobody cares who you used to be.
Man of God, man of respect. I pay my tithes, I don't owe no debts. Tomorrow I promise, don't waste your breath. Most won't get the bigger picture till they facing death. Man of God, man of respect. Humble servants of the Lord, the last ones left. Evil in their spirit can't tempt my flesh. Walk by faith, not by sight. Guide my steps. Nobody cares who you used to be. What you produce today is prorated value to pay for your future needs. They staple telematics to my earlobes. Recover DNA from my hair comb. They monitor your pheromones. Welcome to the terror dome. Mandatory execution and vote for giving or showing love. Redefined as an error code, and that's the most attention you will ever be shown. Lil Yachty want your mind, soul, and your body. If I was you, I'd tell him get your own shot. Man of God, man of respect. I pay my tithes, I don't owe no debts. Tomorrow, I promise, don't waste your breath. Most won't get the bigger picture till they facing death. Man of God, man of respect. Humble servants of the Lord, the last ones left. Evil in their spirit can't tempt my flesh. Walk by faith, not by sight. Guide my steps.